Welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Today's lesson is going to be solving algebraic equations using division. Now we've solved algebraic equations using subtraction, using addition, and using multiplication. And we know that we always have to isolate the unknown or the variable on one side of the equal sign and the numbers on the other side of the equal sign. Well, here the relationship between the variable or the unknown and this number is division. And we know that the inverse or the opposite mathematical relationship of division is multiplication. So we can multiply this by 3 or 3 over 1. It's the same thing. And we know if we multiply this side by 3, we have to multiply this side by 3. Well, if I'm multiplying x over 3 times 3 over 1, which is the opposite, the reciprocal, I can cancel this out and cancel this out. So this all cancels out and I'm left with just x. And x is equal to, and now I have to multiply this side by 3. 9 times 3 is 27. So let's go back to our initial equation. It said x divided by 3 is equal to 9, and we have solved for x. We're saying x is 27, so let's substitute x back in here. 27 divided by 3 is equal to 9, and 27 divided by 3 is 9, so 9 equals 9, so our answer is correct. So let's look at this process again. It's exactly the same in terms of its theory. We had x divided by 3 equals 9. The relationship between the unknown and this number is division, so we use the opposite relationship. Opposite mathematical relationship is multiplication. So we multiply by 3 over 1, and therefore, and if we do multiply by 3 here, we have to multiply by 3 there. We just cancel out and then we get x equals 27. Well, let's take a look at a couple of problems here. Let's take this one. Y divided by 7 equals 8. Okay, well, I have to get the variable or the unknown all by itself on this side and the numbers on this side. I know the relationship here is division, so I'll multiply by 7 or 7 over 1, the same thing, and then I have to multiply this side by 7. Well, our 7's cancel out. 7 goes into 7 one time, 7 goes into 7 one time. So we wind up with just y, 1y, is equal to, and since I multiplied this by 7, I have to multiply the 8 by 7, 56. Let's go back to our initial equation. Y divided by 7 equals 8. And we're saying that y equals 56, so let's substitute 56. 56 divided by 7 equals 8. 56 divided by 7 does equal 8. 8 equals 8, and therefore our answer is correct. Let me put up 2 problems for you to do. Let's have this one. Z divided by 4 equals 7. And on this side, A divided by 6 equals -4. All right, so put your DVD or video on pause. Work these problems and then turn it back on again. Good. All right, let's see how we did now. Z divided by 4. Well, I have to isolate Z by itself. And since this relationship is division, I'll multiply by 4 over 1. and then I have to multiply this side by 4. My 4's cancel out, so I get 1z, or z. We don't write the 1 when it's just z equals 4 times 7, which is 28. If I go back to my initial equation, z, whoops, my bad, z divided by 4 equals 7. If I substitute 28 for z, divided by 4 equals 7, and 28 divided by 4 does equal 7. So our answer is correct. In this problem, a divided by 6 equals -4. I have to isolate a by itself. Since this is division, I'll use multiplication, multiply by 6 over 1, and I'll multiply this by 6 also. Our 6's cancel out, and I have a equals, well, I have a negative times a positive, so I know my answer is going to be negative. A equals negative, and 4 times 6 is 24. Let's go back to the original equation. A divided by 6 equals -4. Let's substitute -24 for a. -24 divided by 6 equals -4. I'm dividing a positive into a negative, so I know I'm going to have a negative as a response. 6 goes into 24 4 times. -4 equals -4. So therefore, my answer is correct. Well, great. Great. Well, we now know how to solve equations that involve addition by using the opposite or the inverse, which would be subtraction. We now know how to solve equations by using subtraction, by using the inverse, which would be addition. We now know how to solve equations that have multiplication by using the inverse, which is division. And we now know how to solve equations that have division by using the inverse, which is multiplication. Excellent. So we now know how to solve our simple one-step equations. Excellent. In our next in our next lesson, we're going to go over equations that involve fractions. So see you then.